Welcome to today's video. Coincidentally, I've got my hoodie on, but the fact is I was working out and I have to meet with students later today. So I said, let me get this video out now. And you'll see why the hoodie is important. Today's video focuses on healthcare. And yes, the assassination allegedly of Brian Thompson by Luigi Mangione. Brian Thompson was the former CEO of United Healthcare. And I'm seeing now for the first time people reacting truly to this issue of healthcare. Now, I got a book in my hand, which I can't tell you what it is yet. I'll flip it around in a couple of minutes, but it's probably going to be surprising. A lot of people didn't realize this. Now, let me talk about me for a second. When I got out of law school, I was not attracted to practicing bankruptcy law. To me, bankruptcy law, first place, was boring. I wanted to be in court. I wanted to be litigating. And to me, bankruptcy law was what? These people spent too much money, they lived above their means, and now they want to get a free ride and file for bankruptcy. Yeah, that doesn't interest me. That's not why I went to law school. Well, the firm I was at was handling bankruptcy cases, and little by little, I started to see a pattern. And that pattern was most of the people that came to file for bankruptcy already had medical bills. A lot of times, if they were really, people have fought in the past other illnesses like cancer, this might have been their second or third time filing for bankruptcy. And you got to understand, I graduated from law school like what, 26. So I was a little naive of the way the world works. And so I started realizing that people were taking jobs they hated just to have health insurance. I was like, I didn't know this was actually happening. Remember, I'm a kid. I'm 26 years old. What do I know? And with the pattern of medical bills, a lot of times it came to me. They didn't even have the medical bill yet. They were already there. They knew they weren't going to be covered. So I had to put like unknown balance at this time when it came to how much is owed to the hospital. But that's when I started to see a pattern. And little by little, I started realizing that one of the main reasons, there's three reasons people file for bankruptcy. First one, medical bills. Number two, health related issues. So missing work or you can't afford co-payments, etc., things like that. Number three is divorce. Now, when I started really getting into bankruptcy and realizing I was helping people and I loved bankruptcy and I still do because of that reason. People come to me, they have an issue, gets resolved. All I know is I owed 60,000 when I met you. I owe nothing today. They're happy. To me, it was kind of like practicing happy law, which was always my goal. I always wanted to be in a good, help people as best as I could. So as I got more and more into this, I started then teaching. And then with teaching is when I had to start really doing the research. I mean, as a bankruptcy lawyer, you're not doing research necessarily on why people file for bankruptcy. So I came across someone who's well known, just give me a minute, who was really at the forefront of this issue, discovered decades ago that the number one reason people file for bankruptcy is related to healthcare and medical bills. And so this person, actually, let's do it now. Let's see this. This is I developed the bankruptcy law course where I was teaching at the law school, and of course I chose this book. Now, what's the name you see right up on the top? Let me make sure that's the first one. Yes, Warren. Guess who? Senator Elizabeth Warren. Let's go down two names here. Actually, three names. No, third name. I'm sorry. Porter. Sound familiar? Katie Porter from California. Now, who is a bigger advocate for the little guy, right? The little person, middle class, lower middle class, etc., than Senator Warren? There is nobody. And yet it's her textbook, it was her research. Law professors, we have to produce writings and publish, and her looking into this is when she started to discover, wait a minute, it's not people buying fancy clothes and watches and TVs and all that. It's people related to medical bills, health related issues. And so that completely changed my approach when it came to healthcare. And so early on, early 2000s, because I graduated in 99, by 2000, 2001, I'm an advocate, not a Bernie bro back then, right? And I didn't vote for Bernie anyway. But I started advocating, why do we have to go into bankruptcy just because someone got sick? I didn't choose to get sick. I didn't want to get sick. And by the way, a lot of times this is not definitely tied into genetics, isn't it? If something runs in your family and these issues come up, then this is ridiculous. So I started saying why we shouldn't have to pay for healthcare. It should actually be given to us. Again, why do I have to take a job that I hate? Do you really want someone working for you that hates being there? And the only reason they're there is because they need health insurance? No, no disrespect to the people that have to do that. I get it, but I have to argue that productivity might be down under those circumstances versus if we can work somewhere we love and at the same time have health insurance. Sounds to me like a win-win situation for everybody involved. But now we're seeing this issue with healthcare and people protesting. If you look it up, Luigi's they're selling merchandise on Amazon like crazy. The McDonald's that turned them in got bad reviews. I think they had to shut that down because people are opposed or saying, wait a minute, he is bringing to light the issues that a lot of people face. And unfortunately, I've been in business 25 years and it's taken this long to people realize it. Now, not really. We have Senator Warren, right? And we also have another one who was too ahead of their time. I kind of feel that way about the Bernie Bros. He was just too way ahead of his time when he's talking about free healthcare and all that. The country apparently isn't ready for that. Is that insane? Yeah, it really is. But guess who? Michael Moore. Michael Moore, Sicko. When was that documentary done? What, 20 years ago? That he was bashing the healthcare system and bringing to light all these issues. But again, he's ahead of his time. So was, so as well as we're dealing with Bernie, right? So Senator Warren has been an advocate of this for decades. She has published in the areas of bankruptcy, I don't know how many times, but every time you look up all these articles, you're going to find her name. I am published in bankruptcy. And of course, a lot of the articles I came across were articles that she had published or even books. And as you see here, we have the case law textbook. Anybody in law school knows what this is. But who's the other person? Porter. So you start to see a habit, right? You start to see that these are the people that have been fighting for our rights and people have been fighting for these issues like healthcare, which again, it makes no sense that you have to go bankrupt because you're sick. And if you have some situation, God forbid, but people who have to go through cancer and can't afford the medication, they end up filing for bankruptcy. And by the way, insurance, what, copays? Who can afford 20% out of $100,000? So, when you look at those issues, these are issues that have been going on for decades. It's nothing new. This concept, I remember years ago when Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida, he had opposed having casinos in Florida. And I specifically remember because back then I was thinking, wow, imagine if Miami, South Beach had casinos. I mean, talk about the flood of money that would come into the town. Jeb Bush says, no, because people who are, those areas that have casinos, these people file for more bankruptcy. I'm pretty sure he just made that up. We have the casino at the Hard Rock in Broward, and I don't think there's more bankruptcies in that general area because of that. Bankruptcy is filed again because of medical bills, health related, and divorce. And of course, and health related again. I did see the other pattern, of course, was clients lost their job or a spouse, and now 2, 4, 5 weeks, maybe they find a job, maybe it's earning less than what they earn. So of course, bankruptcy is going to ultimately be the choice because you have to, you start paying for your bills with your credit cards and you're never going to catch up. But if there's anything positive that came out of this situation, is the fact that now health insurance is coming front and center. Now, where this is going with the next administration, your guess is as good as mine. I can't imagine it'll be for the benefit of us when it comes to health insurance and free healthcare or anything along those lines. But we saw what happened during COVID, right? Now, during COVID, the government was supposedly picking up the tab when someone got hospitalized for that. But there's your perfect example. What if we get another pandemic, another COVID? And this time the government isn't picking up the medical bills. What happens when you've been hospitalized for a week or two? Can you afford that? Chances are you cannot. Most people, even with insurance, cannot afford to pay these outrageous medical bills. Not on top of that, the co-pays and everything else. Now, I did see on social media, and it's something that it was actually on Blue Sky. I retweeted it, I guess, if that's the word. Um, Saying about health insurance, but it's not just health insurance, it's insurance overall. So here's two things to consider. If your house goes up in value, right? It only makes sense that your insurance has to go up in value, right? Your house was 200,000, today it's 215. The insurance company wants their protection, so they say you got to go up to 215,000, right? Good. Has your car insurance go down? Because I know you paid 30,000 for your car, but today is worth 20,000. Why hasn't the insurance gone down in your car? I've never been able to figure that one out. If someone in the industry can explain that to me, the fact is my car insurance doesn't go down even though my car is worth less. So put that into consideration. And the other one is home insurance. We saw endless denials on claims. Sure, the claims are done are wrong. The home insurance companies are going to deny it. We see what Florida is going through with all these hurricanes and everything else. But when I went through Hurricane Katrina and Wilma, what caused me to lose my home, there's one thing I learned quickly. Again, I was naive. I was maybe 27, 28 years old by then. I never had to file an insurance claim. I knew nothing about that. And then that's where I came up with this term, I want to say. Insurance companies are not in the business of cutting you checks. That would defeat the whole purpose of owning an insurance company, right? If you have 100 disasters, they can survive that. You got a million disasters, where's the money coming from? So it's just easier to deny the claim. What's that book everyone's talking about? What is it? Deny something, depose. There's your answer. That's the problem. This is a for-profit business model. And if it means accepting every single claim that comes through, then you have an issue. Go a step further. The medical claims, their doctors are getting paid well to deny those claims. They do the same thing in the dental profession. Um, People literally get paid well to deny these claims. That's why insurance companies, and I've said this before, when I've had clients in motorcycle accidents, I'm like, wow, that's a bad accident. Real serious accidents on 995. And I'm like, well, I'll go by tomorrow and see you, sign all the paperwork, etc. I get a call, hey, I'm home. What? Yeah, I'm home. They gave me some aspirin. They sent me home. Let me guess. You don't have insurance, do you? And so the flip side of that was when I was dealing with my father, who was sick and was going through dementia and Parkinson's. The last thing I wanted to do was take him to the hospital. Why? Because a headache was 4 days, 5 days of trying to figure out why he has a headache. Why? He was 80 years old, completely covered, right? So why not keep him there? Of course, they keep you there until they can't, when they know that claims are going to start being denied, then that's when they kick you out the door. So that is the reality of the insurance industry. They are for profit. They're not there to cut you a check when your home gets disappeared. When I had the hurricane issue, they told me without even looking at the home, you ready for this? Your home was not damaged by the wind. It was a hurricane. It was damaged by improper, manufacturing, the building of the home. You haven't been here to check it out yet. We know that's the problem. How could you know that's the problem? You haven't been here yet. That defies all logic and reason. But that was the answer. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. How did I get approved for insurance in the first place? They would have done an inspection. And if the house was not, you know, properly built, wouldn't they have denied the insurance? Of course they would have, right? If you have cables coming out of the electrical box everywhere, so we can't approve this house. This is a fire waiting to happen. And yet they approved it. But when the time came to cut me a check to fix my roof and everything else that I had, no, it was not, the house was not built properly. You need to sue the developer. That's what I got. And that's what most people get. And that's what most people don't realize until you've been in that situation. Now, that's just a house. Now, I lost that house, loved the house, but it was just a house. Imagine when we're talking now about your health and they're denying these claims for the most ridiculous reasons. One thing I learned a long time ago is they basically use templates. And on those templates, let's say you go in for ABC, the template is ABCDE, and then you find out, you look at it and say, I never did E for whatever reasons, because that's just how they automatically submit it to the insurance company and hope the insurance company is going to accept it. So the whole industry, I'm not going to say any bad words, but it's not good. It's definitely not good for those that have to deal with these issues. I have represented endless people in accidents, and I'll give you an example. If you crash into me, and you don't have insurance, and I do, Is my insurance enough to cover a serious injury and lengthy hospital stay? Absolutely not. Even a $100,000 policy is not going to be enough. So, what are my choices? I know I can sue the guy with no insurance. Really? That guy's going to have money? No. So, what is that person going to do? He's going to call someone like me and file for bankruptcy. Wipes out that debt. Meanwhile, you're the one with back problems, knee problems, broke your arm, whatever happened in that car accident. And what compensation do you get back in return? You get zero. Now, go a step further. Not only do you get zero, you owe money to the hospital, money that you don't have. And so now you ended up filing for bankruptcy. So, one car accident, there's my dog moving around. One car accident will likely result in two bankruptcies. Put that in perspective. You didn't ask to get sick and you didn't ask to get in a car accident, yet you're the one that's losing everything. And if you really want to extrapolate this as you get older, supposedly we have more assets, right? We have our home and everything else. Not every state offers the benefit of Florida of unlimited homestead exemption. I think Kentucky is something ridiculous like $5,000. So, what happens if you're in that situation where you do get sick or you do get in a car accident? Is bankruptcy an option? Not with $5,000 homestead protection. I know Texas has, no, I'm sorry, Georgia has 21,500. South Carolina, this one I'm making up, but I don't think it's high either. I think it's somewhere around 30,000. So that's not enough to protect your home. So you got sick or in a car accident or both, and now you're facing the possibility that you lose your home because of this. So put that in perspective when it comes to these issues of health insurance. You know, the silver lining in this cloud with United Healthcare is that maybe we are beginning to wake up and realize that this is a serious problem in our country, especially as we're getting older, living longer. We're going to get more sick, aren't we? And yet, how are we going to pay for all these things? All right. That's when you find out that people are transferring assets to their children, setting up irrevocable trusts, they're doing everything they can to protect the home. You worked hard for your home. You've been paying the mortgage religiously every month for 20, 30 years, and it could all disappear just like that because of one car accident or one illness or a pandemic. All right. So, everyone stay healthy. I hope you never have to deal with these issues. Any questions or comments, post them in the comment section below. And take care, everybody. I hope we can fix this healthcare issue. Bye bye.